Hey, and welcome to Walrus Carp's How to Find the Cheapest Flights to Disney World. And I'll also help out anybody from Disneyland because this is interchangeable. And in fact, you don't have to necessarily use this for Disney World at all. This is just my how to find really cheap flights strategy. And honestly, this is interchangeable and you can actually stack multiple pieces of this strategy together with other strategies and you can save even more. But right now we're going to get to the crux of this thing, and let me open this up so we can show. I want to share my screen. So I want to be able to show you guys the websites that I use. Let's do a Chrome tab. Let me add another one. There we go. Boom shakalaka. Is it working? I swear, sometimes like I have no idea if any of this stuff works. Technology is like one of those funny things where, we've advanced a lot and there's a lot of new changes. Oh, I think I might have broke it. Did I break it? I may have broke it. Hang on. Right now it's showing me that Chrome is not responding. This is crazy. I'm going to jump onto my phone and see if I'm live. Like, am I live right now? Yeah. Yeah, it's so funny, right? I definitely broke it. This is hysterical. All right. All right, hang on. I'm going to try to fix this real quick. Let me see if I can pause the stream and go right back. Whoa! It looks like I fixed it, and you're right. Yeah, dude. I didn't see anything, and you're right. I definitely broke it, but I fixed it now, so everything's good. All is right in the world. Let me add in a tab now, and I'll do screen share again. I don't know why. You know what? I got to click it so it doesn't ask me to specifically. There we go. All right. Everyone should now be able to see my my face as well as Google Flights on the right-hand side. Let me drop you out there, Mustang. Let me see. Can I make this a little bigger? You know what? I'd rather make this. I kind of want to make this larger. All right. Google Flights. Why aren't you looking better than? Can I make this bigger? Can't make it bigger. Unless I do. Can I do that? Sorry, I'm trying to like. Yeah, you know what? I'm going to just make the flights thing full screen. It'll be easier. All right, so welcome to Google Flights. I'm based out of Philadelphia, so I'm going to show you how to use Google Flights, which Google Flights, super easy. Just type in google/flights.com and it'll bring up this dashboard. Since I'm from Philadelphia, I'll leave it on here, and I'm looking for MCO. MCO is the airport code for Orlando. Now, why is this? Why would I use Google Flights versus using Expedia versus using Orbitz versus using Kayak versus using American Airlines or Delta's website or Spirit's airport website or JetBlue or Frontier? Well, it's because this is an aggregator of every single airline. So let's say, and this is really cool because you can set it up for how many days you want to go. You can look at everything by prices from a calendar perspective. Let's say we want to look for sometime in June to fly to Florida. Well, first thing is all right, I see some flights for 139. See a flight over here for 88. I like to do weekend trips. So let's look for just a quick weekend trip. So a weekend trip, though, is only going to be, I know this sounds crazy and you're like, dude, you're looking for like a 1-day turnaround? Well, a 1 or a 2 day. So basically all I'm doing is messing around down here with the length of the trip to see what the cheapest rates are. So there's some really affordable rates in the middle of the week, which kind of brings me up to rule number 1, be flexible. That means flying on off days, right? So some of the best parts about flying on off days is that there's not a lot of traffic. And especially if you're not flying to a place that's like a business destination, which business travel is down, so most people are just going for vacation. If it's on the weekends, like a Saturday is a really good day to fly. Nobody flies on Saturday. So if you're willing to fly really early on the morning on a Saturday, you can get some really, really cheap flights. So let me see. I'm going to move this back down to 1-day flight. Oh, here we go. Look at this. May. There's a $100 flight right here. So let's see what this looks like. So it's going to bring up all the different individual airlines and the cost of the flights. So our best departing flight over to Philadelphia is 6 a.m., which that's a good flight time. And then I want to stay in Disney as long as I can. So let's see. Looks like the latest for a decent price is around 135, which I've noticed that flights are going up in cost, which is just something, that happens over time as more people are traveling now, more people are vaccinated, all those kind of things are impacting this, where I was able to find flights in July when the Walt Disney World just opened. I was able to find flights for $22 was the cheapest flight I've gotten. And I've gotten flights all the way up to $69. And then the most expensive flight that I just booked was for a very long July trip for $135. So, all right, let's go back into here. So Spirit for returning, this would never work. 645, that's too early. So the cheapest if I did this was 210, but you're gonna have one stop. Like that's no good. So let's change, because I don't like having stops. You can change a bunch of different individual filters. So let's say we only want nonstop flights. Let's go back here, and really the key is looking at times. And for times, let's say for the return time, I don't want to leave until after, let's put this at 3 o'clock. So that way, at least I get some park time. Doesn't matter when I return. And outbound, I want to leave super, super early in the morning. I like to leave early in the morning so I can maximize my trip time. All right, so let's go back here. Now we filtered this. Looks like there's a May 15th flight for 102. That could be good. And at 102 seems high. Look at all these June flights. Very expensive. As we get into the summer season, flights are definitely getting more expensive. But I remember I had said, if you're willing to be flexible and fly on off days. So let's say, for example, you get 1 week off a year, right? Well, most people are going to take a Friday and do a Friday night flight and then come home either Saturday or Sunday the following week if you only get 1 week off, right? That can work, but it's a lot better if you can fly out. For example, on this day, it's 123. So let's say we want to increase this to like a week-long trip, 7-day trip. $215 in June. This July 26th, though, is really cheap if you fly out on a Monday, or even cheaper if you fly out on Tuesday for $113. So let's just show you what this would look like, because this would take you all the way through August. And you're like, wow, that's really weird to take those days. But hey, if you didn't take this Monday and you left on the 27th, and then you took these 2 days off, let's see what all right, so you could leave at 5:49 a.m., get in at 8:24. Most of the parks don't open until 8 a.m. or 9 a.m. So, and if you leave at, I would be a crazy person and take this flight. So 113, that's a really good price. And directly on here, you could either book with, I wouldn't book with Budget Air. I would go directly to book on Frontier. So you would just click Frontier, and this will take you directly to the Frontier site, and it'll have these flights already pulled up. See, that's the benefit of Google, is it goes directly to these sites. Expedia and all those things, they're not really great for flights. The other thing too is you can save money on Frontier and Spirit. I'm gonna flip over to me for a second here so you guys can see me. Frontier and Spirit are considered low-cost carriers. A low-cost carrier is one that will a la carte everything in your flight, meaning the flight itself will be really, really inexpensive, but then there are upcharges that are not mandatory, but suggested. And I'll give you a couple of recommendations for the ones that I use. None. Because it's expensive, right? Like, why are you gonna, I just caught my People Mover hat. In honor of it opening this weekend, I got the I Conquered the People Mover hat, which has the whole entire People Mover track on the side of it, and then Space Mountain. We got our Adventureland t-shirt on here with all the Adventureland foods on it. But these low-cost carriers, right, they're going to charge you for a seat. So if you want to pick your seat, what they won't tell you is when you book, they'll group your party together. And if you're flying with kids who are younger than 16 years old, they legally have to put you next to them. So we never book individualized seats. Now, there is a negative. Usually we're like way in the back of the bus. That's fine. But they'll charge anywhere between $19.99 all the way up to like $49.99 just to pick one seat. I don't think that's worth it. And that's certainly a higher upcharge expense. And a lot of the majors like American and Delta and United, they all charge those. It's included in the price, but they also have, if you want to be in the exit rows or you want to be further up on the plane, it all costs more anyway. So we're kind of getting to that part with all of the regular airlines. The next thing that they're going to try to get you on is printing a ticket out in advance. You're going to want to use your phone to check in, right? You don't want to have to call the airline. You can do it on your computer too, but they do have an app for Frontier, for example. But check in online and check in right as soon as that 24-hour window opens. So let's say you're flying out at 6 a.m. Well, 6 a.m. the day before, you can check in online. I think most people know that, but make sure you do that, because the sooner you check in, the closer and further up in the plane you will be, which is better seating anyway. If you're traveling with kids, a lot of people don't think about this, but you can actually pack a stroller, so like a push-on stroller, a car seat. We use these car seat covers too that we got on Amazon, and they work really, really nice to keep it protected. The other thing that's really fun is nobody really checks, but you can always put like a stuffed animal or extra things into that car seat. But car seats and strollers are completely free. Now, the next thing they're going to try to charge you is for luggage, right? This is the greatest thing I can ever tell you. Pack small, pack light. You don't need everything that you think you need. You just don't. Nobody goes through 7 pairs of shorts on a 7-day trip. That's too many pairs of shorts. You probably can get away with 1 or 2. In the case of guys, I'll pack a pair of swim trunks that I could use as regular shorts as well. And then I'll pack like 1 pair of shorts. And if I'm just going for like a quick trip, I'll probably just pack or wear a bathing suit. So even less things. I know you're like, dude, that's like crazy to be able to travel like that, but it's the truth. The other thing is on these low-cost carriers, they allow you to travel with a backpack. This Loungefly is a personal item size. I can pack enough clothes in here using a packing cube for 7 days. Now, I don't recommend that for most people. Most people are going to need a checked piece of luggage. Checked luggage versus roll-on luggage that you put in the overhead bins. I can't believe I'm like blanking on what they're called, but checked luggage is actually cheaper on the low-cost carriers, but it requires more time for check-in. You know, you have to wait in a line for that, all that kind of stuff. Another pro tip is if you are going to have to check luggage, which we will do with the girls because there's just more of us, and they tend to have more things than I would necessarily on a trip, is I highly suggest that you get there ahead of time, but don't just rely on your mobile phone for your boarding pass. There's actually kiosks to print out your boarding passes. It's completely free, but have a hard, tangible copy of a boarding pass. It's so much easier. And another thing, I'm going to plug here, TSA PreCheck is the greatest thing in the world. It's $79.99 for 5 years to be able to cut lines in security. Easily saves you 30 minutes. So to me, that's like an hour of my travel experience that is seamless. Plus, I don't really like the radiation stuff. I don't really know what it's doing when I go into the machine and lift my hands and it zips around. I don't know. The less scanning of me, my body, the better. You only have to go through a metal detector if you're a TSA PreCheck, and you don't have to take like any of your liquids out of bags, any of that stuff. You keep your shoes on your feet so you don't get like dirty airport feet. So yeah, I recommend TSA PreCheck. All right, going back to low-cost carriers. The other thing that I've joined, and let me flip this over to this screen. The other thing that I've joined is Frontier's discount den is what they call it. So even though it was showing $113, this round trip would actually cost me $105. So $105, and then at night, what's the nighttime? $105. So all in, and the one thing that's cool about Frontier is everything includes tax. So all in, it's $104.80. Now here's another tip that they won't tell you on the airlines. You can cancel any flight that you want within 24 hours. So if you find a better price somewhere, you can cancel risk-free at any airline, no fees, nothing, within 24 hours. Sometimes that happens on Tuesdays. I don't know why Tuesday, out of all days of the week, there tends to be a new release of schedules. So that's always good to check. And a lot of times like Spirit and Frontier, which are the lowest, cheapest priced airlines. Now, don't get me wrong, you'll only get, well, actually, I don't even think they give you water now. I mean, they definitely don't do a beverage service. And I don't think they even give you water, just regular water. Like, you don't get a drink service unless you pay for it. And then snacks, you have to pay as well. So it's basically a seat in the sky. That's what you get when you're on Frontier. But that's what we're talking about, is you're not going to get comfort. You'll get really good safety. Frontier is very safe. All the airlines are very safe. You never hear about planes just going down randomly. My mom was telling me this crazy story that she was on a flight and the engine was on fire. Now that reminds me of that Twilight Zone movie where like the gremlin was like ripping at wires and everything on the engine. And everyone thought he was crazy, but at the end they actually see the engine's all tore up. But my mom was on this flight and the engine was on fire and there was like a piece of the metal that was removed from it. And she like hits the call button. Bing! Flight attendant, it seems like the engine's on fire. Is that okay? Oh, that's okay. We're fine. We're going to land pretty soon anyway. So like the engine was on fire. These things are made to be extremely, extremely safe. So never feel like you're unsafe in a plane. Although I will say we sat in the back and we had some pretty bad turbulence, and it does get spooky up there when you're jiggling and jostling around. And the further you are back, we were 3 rows from the back of the plane, you get way worse turbulence. So if you're by the wings, it's really not that bad. I actually saw a video once too, where they took an Airbus and they bent the wings, right? So like the wings, they just like kept bending them. and it was able to spring back up. Like, these things are really, they're not falling apart. You're not falling from the sky. So if you need a cheap seat, this is a great way to do it. All right, we're going to head back to, let me change this off of Frontier. Oop. And we're going to look from Philly to California. Now, I will point out one other thing, because it's kind of fun to just look for like random places. And these times have to go, because there's no way I'll find like a 2-day trip or a 3-day trip real cheap. All right, let's say I want to go to California sometime in the summer. All right, I'm seeing 230 in July, 230 in July, 230 in August, 230. All right, I'm going to switch the days, keep it into July and August. Let's see if a 3-day trip is cheaper. 221. That's not that much. I'd rather keep it at 230 and get the extra day. 221 for a 5-day trip, and it starts on a Thursday. I think we're going to check that one out in August and see what that cost is. And a 6-day trip that leaves on a Wednesday is 201. That's a really good. And once again, you're going to be like, dude, I can't leave on those days. I understand that. But the more you think about flexibility on the days that you take off, like let's say you take off a Thursday, Friday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, your flights are going to be cheaper. Although this one's not bad. A 5-day trip that leaves on a Friday. Let's see, and then comes on a Wednesday. I want to see what what time of day it leaves. It leaves, oh, it has one stop. All right. That's for 2:30 though. Let me see if I can, it must have gotten rid of my filter on. So 247 is the cheapest there. I'm going to go back to the calendar because it dropped out my, here we go. Here's a Wednesday for 221. Takes you through Sunday. This is actually a pretty good flight. You would only have to take a Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and you would get a nice 6-day trip out of this. Let's see where it lands. All right. Leave at 5:30 p.m. Get there at, this is one of those red eyes. So you could actually technically go back to work the next day. On Monday, you could go right back to work. I know, like, who wants to fly into Philadelphia at 5:33, rush off a plane and go right to work? But hey, this is what we're talking about. If you want to save money, you got to be doing the things that nobody else wants to do. If you want convenience, and remember, like, what's waking up a little bit early? Oh, I value my sleep. Okay, I value dollars more than my sleep. I'll get over the sleep. Drink another Joffrey's, you'll be good. So here we go. Leave it Wednesday, get over there at 8:33 p.m., and then come back on Monday super, super early. 221, which is saying is typical for the summertime for economy. We would want to really try to find one that's in this era, but let me see if I can get one that's in the 115 out there. Let's find some real cheap flights. I don't know if you can do you do it by price? Yeah, you can. I don't really mess with price that much. Let's get under $200. Let's see, does it go under $200? 300 is the cheapest. Okay, that's cool. All right, 221. I'm going to keep messing with this thing until I find something that has a 1 in front of it. And there might be nothing. Sometimes it's just how it is. Oh, you got to leave on July 4th. There's July 4th for 201. I bet availability in, there's nothing in June. Everybody's going away in June. This is also like a good way to tell how booked flights are, because if there's tons of available and affordable flights. Also, the other thing too is, like, the further you go out on flights, sometimes you actually pay more. Like, look at all these 241s. I think the sweet spot is 3 months out. 2.5 to 3 months out. All right, so where's this? Let's look at this July flight, because I'm just super curious what that is. So you leave, get there at 8:31, and when do you return? Another red eye. Oof, that's a tough one. Yeah, you're only getting a day and a half over. But hey, listen, if you wanted to go to Disneyland for a day, you could do it for 201. I mean, Philly to California, that's not bad. It's not horrendous anyway. So, here's the other thing that you can do. I'm going to change this to credit card churning. You've probably never heard of this before. And you'd probably be like, dude, why would I want to do this? I don't want to wreck my credit. This is a weird site. Let me see if all right. I'm just going to talk to you about it. I'll leave this up because it has a definition of what credit card churning is. But simply put, credit card churning works as you identify several credit cards that have good reward offerings and currencies that interest you. For example, airline miles. It might be hotel miles. It might be just general rewards, either like money back, whatever that is. You apply for those cards. You do the minimum spend, which once you do the minimum spend, and they all have different values, maybe it's $200, $300, $1,000, $3,000 within that set time period, they release all of these rewards. And then you can stack those rewards and use them as such. So I've done that in the past. Now things have gotten a little bit different, but having multiple credit cards is not a bad thing. So this is not financial advice because I think you have to legally say that, but having multiple credit cards is not a bad thing as long as you're not utilizing all of the credit card up at once. So what I mean by that is if you have, let's say, 5 credit cards and each of them have, for simple math, $1,000 credit limit, right? And you only use one of them and you have $300 on there, right? You only have $300 out of 5,000 total available dollars in credit available to you. That means your utilization rate, how much credit you're using versus how much credit you have. You have $5,000 to spend in credit. You've only spent $300. That's not that much, right? So that's a part of your credit score. Actually having more available balance and having more credit cards with more available credit squashes your utilization. Even if your utilization gets high, like let's say you have $5,000 in credit card charges, but yet you have $50,000 or $60,000 in credit card limit. That's how you establish and build your credit out, is by having a long-standing credit card. Don't be afraid of them. Just don't, spend over your over what you can afford, and make sure you pay them off every month. So I never use debit cards or anything because you don't get reward points. My favorite credit card in the world, I've used this forever, is the Chase Sapphire Preferred. So there's two. There's the Chase Sapphire Preferred, and then there's the Chase Sapphire Reserve. The difference is they have 2 different annual fees. So where's the annual fee on this one? On the Chase Sapphire Preferred, it's $95 a year. On the Chase Sapphire Reserve, it's $550 a year. Now, you're like, dude, whoa. I don't want to, why am I spending money to use a credit card? Listen to me for a second. 80,000 bonus points for the Chase Sapphire Preferred is worth $4,000 in travel. $4,000, and they use Expedia on their Chase Rewards site, but it's insane. The other thing too is you earn 2 times back on dining in restaurants worldwide. You earn 2 times back on travel worldwide. You get points that are worth 25%. What is this? Complimentary DoorDash? Who cares? I've never used that, but maybe I should. What does that mean? 0 delivery fee? Okay, maybe I'll sign up for that. I don't know. I've never used it. 5 times back on Lyft rides, which, by the way, that's the provider down in Disney World when they were using the minivans. Now over here, this 551, dude, this isn't even worth it. You only get 60,000 bonus points. You're getting more bonus points over here. The difference, you get 3x back on your dining, which is cool. 3x back on your travel, which is also good. Your points are worth 50% more, where your points here are only worth 25% more. So that's good. But look, this still, you have way more points with this than you have on this. What else do they give? complimentary Lyft membership. That doesn't even give you. That's so silly. Nobody should ever get this. This is a trash card. This used to be really good when it first came out. The Chase Sapphire Preferred is the best credit card on the planet for when it comes to just if you want to travel and do anything. So let me open up a new tab. Let me see if I can get into my Chase rewards without showing you everything about my credit card. Let me log into my ultimate rewards. All right. And I'm pulling up the travel section, and then you can kind of see what we're doing here and how I book hotels, because that's what's important. Oh, did I lose it? What happened? All right, let's do share screen, tab, boom, boom. There we go. So on here, this is the Chase booking site, which I'll show you the reward section. Hang on, let me just pull it up. It'll be so much easier because you'll get an idea. Now, I just used up a bunch of points, but I also have more points on other accounts. So it depends on the accounts. Like this one has 10,972 points. This one has 86,781 points. This is a business card, which I use for Walrus Carp. And then this is my personal one, which I just drained a bunch not that long ago. So 10,978 points. And where am I going? Oh, I'm going to Disney Springs, baby. Take me to Disney Springs. I got to change these check-in dates because I'm not checking in May 8th. But I just want to kind of illustrate to you how you can stay on property in Disney for really, really cheap using points. That's right, using points. So here we go. You know what? I'll just leave this on here. It really doesn't matter. Unless this is like a weekend. No, it is a weekend. It's pretty affordable. Let's see if the pricing changes. If I did like a third, or you know what? Let's do like a weird night, Tuesday night. I just want to see if the pricing changes that much. If it doesn't, I'll go back to quick little weekend. It does. It does for sure. So this is the place I always stay at, the Wyndham Garden, Lake Buena Vista, for 84.15 or 8,732 points a night, and bang, I would have a free night right there. But let's go to the weekend. Let's say we're staying over here, and I'm doing one of those crazy just one night, fly in super early on a Saturday, leave on a Sunday late at night. What I'm looking for are hotels, and I'll show you. I'll pull up the map here. We're looking for hotels that give me access to the same benefits that staying on Disney property would have, because this technically isn't. It's Disney property. You're in the bubble. Here's Disney Springs right here. No, I wish it would show like what Disney Springs actually looks like in like a satellite, but. Here's Goofy Candy Kitchen is right over in this area. You got the Rainforest Cafe over here. World of Disney's right here. Starbucks. So the reason why I like staying here at the Wyndham, because the Wyndham is cheap, $126, but the proximity, you just walk over a little bridge right here and you're into Disney Springs for nothing. All right, let me get out of this for a second. So the B, which is very reasonably priced, only 9,194 points. Which I could afford. That is really, really cheap. So you go in here and you can pick your room out. So what's that? 114 bucks, 147. A chic queen 2 bed. Cool. So let's say we reserve that. And then you can go on here and it'll let you check pricing and everything. Sometimes you have to do some like wonky nonsense where like right here there's a taxes and fees $14.26, but whatever, no biggie. All right. But I just loved all these Disney official hotels, and they're the cheapest. If you try to go to any of these other spots, you don't get any of the benefits of staying on property, which the benefits of staying on property are if they bring back extra magic out. Hang on, let me get out of this for a second. If they bring back like extra magic hours, stuff like that, you will be able to access them. If they do, you lose out on one thing, which is Disney transportation. You don't have Disney transportation at these hotels versus like staying on property hotels. But here's another travel tip. Don't stay on property for the Disney transportation, except for the Skyliner and the monorail. Everything else is really wonky. And what I mean is the Skyliner, it runs all the time. It's very easy to get in and off, but it doesn't go everywhere, right? So you know what? Let me, which one am I on here? Oh, you know what? You guys couldn't even see that page. I'm such a dope. I'm so sorry. But hopefully verbally you got to see or you heard what I was talking about for the $114 room. I'm sorry about that. I wasn't even thinking. Oh, what do I want to type in? I want to type in Disney Skyliner map. Crash. Oh my gosh, that was crazy. That was wild. Let's do, oh, look at this little overlay. Can I open? I don't want to open it up as a new tab because then I'll lose you guys. All right, let's do this full screen. All right, so here is the Skyliner map. And let's do, I don't want to open in a new tab. Can I just open image? Copy image address. There we go. Copy image address. This should make it full size. There we go. Bangarang. That's what I'm talking about. So what we're looking at here is these are all of the locations that are linked up with the Skyliner. And Disney transportation is super unreliable when it comes to buses. The buses are slow, they're long, and especially right now with a lot less people there, they're very unreliable in terms of times. And easily you'll wait half an hour, if not more, because the frequency of the buses is just so infrequent, which means park hopping is slower, all that kind of stuff. What I would recommend is renting a car at MCO. It's about $20 to $30 depending on the day per day. It's so much faster and easier. Yeah, if you were doing single tickets, it wouldn't necessarily be the most affordable because you would have to pay for your parking. But as an annual pass holder, I don't pay for parking, so it's part of the annual pass. So that could be just keep that in mind if you're a single ticket rider. I would personally suggest that if I was you, I would stay either on, if you could afford it and you really like Magic Kingdom, this is only if Magic Kingdom is your number one and you're going to go there the most, stay at the Polynesian, or the Contemporary is actually the most affordable, or you could even do Wilderness Lodge when that reopens up in June. I think it's actually opening up my birthday weekend, which I was born June 6th. So I think it's opening up like right that weekend as a hotel. Right now it's only DVC, but I think better bang for your buck right now is stay at Pop Century. It's the cheapest of all the places. You get access to the Skyliner, and it'll take you to Caribbean, which goes over to Hollywood Studios, or you pop off at Caribbean, get on, and it'll take you through the Riviera line all the way to Epcot. The best place to stay would be Caribbean Beach if you could stay somewhere in this area, right? Because this area right here, or even here, this is probably the best spot to stay in Caribbean Beach. I don't know what, great question. What is Caribbean? They all have different countries attached to them. And frankly, I don't know. I don't know which one's which country. Give me 1 second. Let me pull this up, because then I can tell you even better. Copy image address. Let's hope this doesn't look terrible. Whoa. Yeah, that looks terrible. Let me, hang on. There we go. Aruba, Jamaica. Ooh, I want to take you to. Boom. Here we go. So your best bet for the Skyliner access is going to be staying in Aruba or staying in Jamaica. I like Aruba better here because if you're in Aruba, you can walk to the Riviera's line, which goes right to Epcot. And from here, you could also walk to your Caribbean Beach line, which is right here, and not have to, right here, is right here. And you wouldn't have to go to like do a transfer to get to Hollywood Studio. So yeah, I mean, even you'd be good in Jamaica too, or Barbados. I mean, they're all pretty relative. Barbados is kind of a haul. You'd have to go this way and over, but yeah, Caribbean Beach, super affordable. I actually booked originally for the 50th. The plan was to stay at Caribbean Beach. And then it just didn't work out. It didn't work out with the travel agent that I was working with. And it was a shame because I kind of wanted to stay there, but all good. We have park passes for the 50th. So we're excited. And Ratatouille's opening up that Friday, which is October 1st. We're actually in Hollywood Studios that day. And then we are headed to Epcot on the second day. So on October 2nd, we'll be palling around on Remy's Ratatouille Adventure. So super stoked on that. And then we're going to hit Magic Kingdom on that Sunday. So it won't be the actual day unless availability opens up and I can switch some things around. So, but yeah. Anybody have any questions about travel tips or any of this stuff? Let me remove this from stream. But realistically, I highly suggest two things. One, get yourself a rewards credit card like the Chase Sapphire Preferred. It's incredible. It's by far the best travel rewards card. I've been using it for the last decade. It is the card I use for everything. It's so important to me because we travel and that's what's important to us. You should get a credit card that really rewards you in the ways that you want to be rewarded. So like if you want money back, get the highest % money back. If you like, Amazon gift cards, there's an Amazon credit card, like all that stuff. Like get what you use and what you enjoy. If you like to do housework, I'm sure Home Depot or Lowe's has a good credit card. But for me, travel is everything. So the Chase Sapphire Preferred is mine and the best credit card, hands down. And then our business card is the Chase Sapphire Inc. Or Business Inc. card, which is actually just as good as the Chase Sapphire Reserve, but with not a big annual fee. And it's got all these perks for our business. So we do a lot of business spends on there as well. So yeah, but use Google Flights. Google Flights is your friend. Google Flights is google.com/flights. It's the best way to get a big picture across every single airline. You don't want to use an Expedia or a Kayak or any of those guys because the way that they research is they're allotted a certain amount of value price tickets. And it's an aggregator of those, but it's not really, it doesn't have the full inventory of seats like Google does. And Google's free and it links you directly to the website. So yeah. And then I'd recommend if you're on Frontier, the discount den is quite good. And if Spirit's yours, I know my in-laws use Spirit a lot and they're part of I think it's the $9 seat club. So sometimes they'll fly down to Tampa from Atlantic City for $9. So yeah, pretty cheap. All right. Well, thank you for hanging. I hope you learned something about how to travel for cheap to Disney World. My name's Kirk. I run Walrus Carp. We are a food-based Disney theme park clothing company. All this behind us is our Disney clothing, including the shirt that I'm wearing right now. You guys are awesome. Make sure to check out walruscarp.com. Sorry, everything's flipped. It's got my head all screwy. Yeah, check us out on the website and make sure you like and subscribe. You guys are the best. Hope you learned something. And if this changes and I find something better than Google Flights, which I've been using Google Flights for probably about 9 years now, I'll let you know. But yeah, it's epic and you'll save a ton. All right, guys, you're the best. Thanks for being rock